Hello, everyone. Welcome back to How to Trade. I'm Shane Vernier, and this is the U.S. Open. Today, we're going to take a look at a few strategies to really help you engage the beginning parts of the U.S. session. We've got right now the first thing I do every morning as soon as I see the markets open, is I look at my big board, and right now my big board is blood red. I mean, all the stocks right now are down. You're looking at the Dow's off about 126, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, they're all in the red. Now, they're not in the red by very much. But a lot of times this can be how trend days start when you get that big negative print across the board. What we're looking for is consistency and commonality throughout all of these assets. And right now I'm seeing a lot of red and risk assets, stocks, crypto, things like that. And then also the US dollar's got a bit of a bump, about a 0.25% bump, but the VIX is up around 20. So I'm watching all these things closely. And as a trader, you'll get there to the point where you can say, okay, I'm watching everything. I'm watching, okay, what does this look like immediately? Do we really know? Was there a market driver out that could be causing this? And yes, there's two. There's two market drivers out there that are bringing heat to U.S. stocks. So today, we are going to look at a few different strategies. We're going to look at the 920 on very tight time frames. We're also going to take a look at the 9 EMA with RSI confirmation on extremely tight time frames. And then we're going to maybe potentially take a couple Fibonacci trades if we can get one of these markets to trend. But right now, welcome to the show. U.S. Open. Good to see everybody back. Team Marine, always a pleasure. Cheryl O, good to see you. Cheryl Lewis. Been a while, Lewis. How you doing? I hope everybody's doing well out there. Didn't get any sleep really at all, not because I was out going places I shouldn't go, but I just could not sleep last night. It was an interesting type of a dynamic here. Feels like there's a lot going on in the markets, and I was watching a little bit of the financial news last night, and I started thinking, and I was reading stories, and I go, tomorrow could be something. Tomorrow could be something. So we got a lot to go over. I want to go ahead and get through it, and I want to get out to price action and start trading as soon as we can. So here are the dynamics we're facing today. Trump accuses China of violating preliminary trade deal. More trade uncertainty. And that is going to be a real challenge for us moving forward because this stuff always seems to break on a Friday or a Saturday. And you just can't really sit here and go, oh, well, we got smooth sailing. If that deal, the preliminary trade deal, if that's being violated, that means the tariffs go back to 145%. That means that business is down and business is off between these two mega powers. And that was one of the real reasons we saw a big rally really over the past few weeks in the U.S. equities. So a lot going on here. We are watching very closely. Let's get right out to price action, though, in the NASDAQ. Let me see. TA, or Tardis Crypto, good to see you. Hello. How are you? I hope you're doing well. We got an interesting type of a scenario here. Now, we're going to set up some orb trades for you. We're going to be here about a half hour. So right towards the end of the stream, I'm going to draw those orb trades. And we're also going to maybe look at potentially an orb that has to do with, that uses a little bit of confirmation. Meaning maybe we'll be looking at a crossover, a 920 crossover potentially that'll give us a hint on which way to play our orb or which way gives it a little bit more credence. So we're going to do opening range breakouts. Those are going to be set up at about a half hour from now. I'm going to set those up and we're going to talk about where the market may go. And then we're going to do some high impact scalping pretty much right now. So blood red right now. We're seeing some buybacks. Let's go to the US 30. US 30, this is interesting. Nice 15-minute chart, and you can see you're already got that opening print. Nice negative 15 minutes setting up right now, so we could get a nice orb set up. That would be beautiful. I would absolutely love that. I don't really care which way it goes. I just want it to be nice and tight and something that we can sink our teeth into and attack. Tina, Kia Ora from New Zealand. Good to see you. Kia, welcome. I haven't been down to New Zealand. I had some friends that would go down fishing, but absolutely welcome on the other end of the world. I'm way up north. You're way down south, so absolutely good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Right here, Great Britain Pound USD. This is fascinating stuff, and unfortunately, we missed the trade. There was a couple real nice 9 EMA trades that have developed here on the 5-minute time frame in the U.S. the U.S. majors. Right here, U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. One of these. This is one that I absolutely really love. This right here. Now, just a quick review on this strategy so nobody gets confused. 9 EMA, it's probably our most popular strategy, our most popular video that we ever put out on our YouTube channel, How to Trade Calm. And it's very simple. When price breaks above the 9 EMA, you're buying. When price breaks below the 9 EMA, you're selling. But we've added a qualifier. And when we're using very short time frames, like a 5-minute, like a 1-minute, like maybe even, I've traded 15-second charts before. We may do that a little bit later. I use RSI, the Relative Strength Index, as confirmation. I leave all the settings the same on that RSI. Periodicity of 14, calculated on the bar close. That's what we like to do with the RSI. Now, when the RSI gets beneath 30, it's an oversold territory. We're looking to buy the market. When it gets above 70, it's an overbought territory. We want to sell the market. This right here, the biggest tip, the biggest pro tip I can give you for trading the 9 EMA with RSI is get something that's volatile. Get a market that's moving, trade it while it's moving. We're going to go way down in time frames here on the U.S. equities futures here in just a minute, but this is a great trade. U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, 5-minute chart. You can see the market really just falls apart right before PCE. The core PCE readings come out. Then you get a bit of chop. Look where you were, though. I mean, just to show you on our RSI, I know it's a little small for you, but look at where my cursor is. Deep into oversold territory. We want to buy. Well, what do we need to have a buy? We've got to get a bar close right above our 9 EMA. Remember, if in fact the bar it's not a clear close above the 9 EMA, we don't execute that. In my book's not good enough. That's good enough right there. So your entry point would have been right there, and you would have had an opportunity to grab some pips. You'd have been at 143.70, and right now we traded all the way up to 144. Really a beautiful trade on a Forex pair that gives you a good opportunity on short time frames trading this type of strategy because the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen moves. It moves. Okay, let's see if we can find another pair. I want to execute something right now live. We got the itch. We got a friend in the room from New Zealand, so I want to definitely get that going. Not quite. We're not quite there. We just need to get into that oversold territory, and then we'll be looking to buy this thing back right there. So I'm looking very, very closely at that. Let's take it right down. Let's get right down to brass tacks. We're going NQ. I'm going E-mini NASDAQ futures, and we're not going to play around here. We're going to take it right down to a 1-minute chart and see what we've got cooking. Okay. Now remember, you can use these strategies on any time frame. Just remember this. The shorter time frame you go, all right, probably the less your success rate's going to be, but you're going to get a heck of a lot more trades. You can trade this thing on a 1-minute chart. The key is going to be getting your risk down. You've got to be able to get your stop loss identified, your profit target identified, and get your entries down. And you've got to be able to do it fast, especially if you're trading something that's just, NQ is like, I call it manic. I mean, it's an absolute manic market, and one of those that I love to trade it, I'll tell you that, but I do it on a micro because this thing is expensive. Not necessarily the tick value, only about $6.25 per tick, but there's so many ticks in a price bar. I mean, this takes some money to play this. So I'm watching the NQ closely because I like to scalp it. We've had very good success scalping these things live, so we're going to be watching that as well. Let me see. Let's see. High Tech Freaks, good to see you, High Tech. Cheryl O, it's hard to trade the orb with crypto. I just do my beast on the weekends or best on the weekends. You're absolutely right. Crypto, it's very difficult to build an opening range. It's a great observation, Cheryl. Dave, good to see you, Dave. David from South Africa. Dave, oh man, I got a million questions for you. To being down in South Africa, I've never been. I've always wanted to go see it. Right now, it's just been in the news a lot here in the United States. But I remember growing up watching like World's Strongest Man in Cape Town or Sun City, and I always said, man, South Africa looks pretty neat. So welcome. We got a global audience this morning, so that's great. Let's see if we can get a few winning trades, huh? Right there, we just didn't quite break into oversold territory. We're going to let this one simmer a little bit. Let's go to the US 30. US 30, okay, we're right inside. We're inside of that RSI, so that's going to be really tough. We're going to have to wait there. All right, what I do love this time of day, too, is gold. Gold is going to be a pretty good one. Okay, this is the challenge, guys, with trying to schedule these streams. We missed a trade opportunity right there using this strategy. You've got an oversold territory, something like this. Oversold, and what happens? Bang, there's going to be your entry. Your original entry is going to be right there on that price bar. Now, we have a secondary entry if we want it. If you guys remember, we did a Fibonacci video where I showed you how to use Fibonacci's to do your entry point. This would be an entry point to the long on gold. So let's go ahead. We're going to go straight up market order. Let's go ahead and send them and see what happens. Okay, so there would be your buy. Now, the reason why we can execute that buy, and I know I'm moving fast. If you have any questions, the videos are in our channel. This would be using the 9 EMA with Fibonacci retracements. So the idea here is to wait for that initial run after your entry and then buy a pullback. That's what we're looking to do. Nothing's really changed. We're still above the 9 EMA, so I'm still thinking bullish price action here on a 1-minute chart. But my stop loss is the most important part of this trade. Now, my leverage, full disclosure, these are demo dollars. This isn't real money. However, if you were trading, say, on a prop firm or something like that, you could probably use a size like this. Now, this type of risk is a big one. We bought 32.96s right in there, 38%, and now we're going to have to stop ourselves out down here beneath 32.90, somewhere right down in there. So I'm watching closely. We'll see if we do get a rally. 38% didn't hold. Right now, it's sort of make or break time for this trade. We're trading right on the 9 EMA. It's a challenge to scalp spot gold. There's no two ways about it. When we're trading spot gold, we have that giant spread to contend with. Personally, I prefer scalping gold futures, but right now we're getting hit. Now remember, 1 minute charts, and if you do this, if you're looking to do this type of trading all day long, you're going to have dozens and dozens of trades, and that's why, maybe taking a $1,000 hit on this trade is not the best idea. But hey, let's just wait and see how it pans out. I'm going to leave my stop loss down beneath this swing low and see if we can't get a bullish price action. Right now, our bullish 1 minute action is we're still intact, but just take a look. You're fighting the broader trend. And a lot of times when we trade 1 minute charts, we run into issues because we really forget about what the market's doing and what market state's doing, and we just get wrapped up in, a chart is a chart is a chart. I don't believe in that. The longer the time frame you use, probably the more success you're going to have. This looks like, to me, we're going to get stopped. But it's very tight. Our stop loss is right down there at about, I would put it a few pips beneath 32.90.71, somewhere around 32.90.39. What would my profit target be? Well, we got to get paid for our trouble. I would be looking for this. I would probably be looking for market structure, maybe something in a 1-to-1 up here, potentially maybe up in this chain we could shoot for as well, maybe up at 33.04. Challenging trade. We'll see exactly how it works out. But we've got the three elements of our trade, and it's a loser, it looks like. We have the three elements. We have our entry, we have our stop loss, and we have our profit target. Unfortunately, gold's down about 0.71%. I wouldn't really say we're trending on the day. I mean, I'm ready to take this trade, but now we're seeing stocks sort of get bought back. We're seeing gold come off. It could be a real challenge to get anything done on this particular 1 minute trade. So I hate to start with a loser, but that looks to me like it's going to be a loser. All right, let's see. Yeah, good morning. Absolutely. It's not starting off well for us here. Who knows? We're not knocked out yet. Let's see. What else do we got cooking? Let's go back to the US 30. I do want to watch that gold for another minute before I give up on it. But right here, you've got your orb. Your first 15 minutes is almost complete. So I'm watching this closely. What does this look like to you guys? US 30 right now, a minute 30 left in our 15-minute bar. What does it look like? Looks like a hammer. What's a hammer? It's a reversal signal. So I'm watching that. That's an interesting formation right there, a 15-minute hammer. I would love the next 15 minutes to trade inside of that price bar, and then we just lock and load our orbs, and then we start looking for key levels to play towards. This one right here. You'll notice when I'm making orbs, I don't have anything else on my chart, but maybe a key level could be our overnight. Let me see. That's yesterday. Actually, that's yesterday afternoon's high. Maybe something like that. Maybe that's spike high. Maybe we want to aim for somewhere up in this chain. Do we want to be long with this much uncertainty going into the weekend? Really tough, really difficult, really tough. So in any case, you guys ask any questions that you like on the fly. I know I'm moving fast, but that's sort of the nature of trading the open. We got to be on our toes, moving quickly. We got a couple other things. Let's go back to our gold depression. Yeah, we're going to lose this one, it looks like. Who knows? We might, in fact, get a little bit of a bounce, but we don't have much room left before we're just going to go ahead and take this loss. And remember, your first loss is your best loss. You just rip the Band-Aid off, you come back, and you look for another trade here in just a second. Hopefully we get one. But that one's not working at all. Let's go to the US 30 again. Okay, US 500. This is a US 509 RSI as well. 5-minute chart, I probably would be leaning on a 5, but we could definitely take it down to a 1 minute if we wanted. Right now, the markets really don't have any direction, though. And you can see we're sort of chopping back towards break even, at least. What I would definitely say would be break even with regards to that big negative open, and now you're getting a buyback, sort of. So right now, the question becomes, are these things going to move today? With these market drivers, it could be incredibly difficult. I believe we just got stopped. Yeah, we just got stopped on our gold trade. So let's go ahead, bag it. And that, remember, demo dollars. I don't want anybody losing $1,400 on a 1 minute chart. But this right here, that would be your stop out. So what we want to know is, did we get out at the right time? Was our stop loss located in the right area? It looks to me like it was. Remember, your first stop loss is going to save you money. And a lot of folks they want to ride these things out. and they want to sit there and go, oh, no, it's going to make a comeback. Well, we just got stopped out up here at 90-ish. We're down another $4 in a minute. This is turning into an absolute rout on gold. We got out of the way at the right time. So remember, it's not necessarily what you make, but it's what you don't lose. Interesting type of a scenario there. All right, let's go back to our NQ. I want to look at this one on a 15. This is our 920 crossover. You can see not much is developing right now. And this is a very simple one to trade as well. When the 9 crosses over the 20, we look to buy. When the 9 crosses under the 20, we look to sell. So something like this on E-mini NASDAQ futures. Let's take it down to a 5-minute chart and see what we have. Okay, we had a buy signal right there during the pre-market. I would throw that. You got to throw that one out because that, excuse me, the volume comes in big right on that opening bell. So as soon as the opening bell ding ding comes in, it's sort of all bets are off. The market then takes a completely different direction. So would you want to be on that sell potentially? 5 minutes in, the first 5 minutes of trade, there's the crossover. I mean, you could be on that sell still. The real question is, do we want to go in on a retracement level again? You can do it with a 920 as well. We just missed 38% potentially. This could be a pretty good short. So we're going to watch this one closely as well. 5-minute chart. Of course, we missed it. We always jump on the losers and don't get the winners, but that would have been our entry right on that bar close, and then we would have been right up here on that swing high with our stop loss, and then our profit target. 5-minute chart. I would be looking towards the bottom of market structure here, which developed before our PCE number. So this type of trade, 5-minute chart, 920 crossover, sort of lines up with what we saw, at least with our fundamentals. We got to go over PCE in a second, but the U.S.-China trade war news definitely brought it off. I think I would much rather be short right now than long, but I could be wrong. And that's what we use the indicators for. If you're going to be an indicator trade or something like this, you get the nice big break, and that would have you short, and you're already in the money quite a bit. So we'll keep an eye on that, see how that develops. Our gold is absolutely plummeting right now, down to 32.86. US 30, still not much happening there. Really just sort of messing around flat. That's big, though. Take note of this. We're building our orbs, and right there's your hammer. Hammer formation. That suggests that we're going to move higher. I would absolutely love, don't project on the market, but I would love to see this stay put. I want it tight. I want that orb tight. I want that opening range breakout to be as tight as it can because that's going to help us manage our risk towards the rest of the day. I don't want to see the market break right now either way. I want it tight. So if we traded down into this value area, then we would have a chance to make a trade that I would call high probability. Let's wait and see how it goes. But I'm loving this. This hammer action, trade down in here and just stop down in here. And then we'll have a nice tail there. We'll have a nice spike low, and then we'll be able to do some work. I like that. I like that one a lot. How about our gold? How'd our stop work? Worked pretty good. Look at that. We're already, what did we save? $6. All right, let's wipe that trade off. Good learning moment, though. Remember, we win from our losers here. I don't run from losers. I don't hide from them. That's a grand down. All right, we'll see what we can do the rest of this session. But now what are we on? We're on a buy. Right there, deep into oversold territory. Our RSI's down around 25. So now we're looking for a bar close above the 9 EMA, and we're going to send them. That would be the idea. If we could hit from somewhere down in here and maybe up there, maybe up to a return to 3,300, which I think can happen, then we could be in great shape. We could get back what we lost and then some. But it's got to set up first, and right now it is. Let me see. Team Marina, what about the Great Britain pound Australian dollar? Yeah, we'll go ahead and look at that. BTC broke out of the orb. Cheryl, I'm curious of how you established an orb with Bitcoin. It can be done. My guess is you would try to put it on a 24-hour basis. I would use probably a 4-hour chart if I was doing it. Curious how you build your orb, though. I mean, I love the concept. I think it's a great concept. The real question is how do we apply it to Bitcoin, and what is a Bitcoin trading session? Is it just a weekly? Probably would just be your Sunday 4-hour, 2 back-to-back 4-hour bars on Sunday. I'm going to give this one more minute, 40 seconds, and then we got a couple other things that we need to go over. We do have to cover a couple fundamentals, and then we got one trade idea that looks to me like it may come into play that I really like. I want it out there for the weekend as well. Okay, now we're getting close. 27 seconds. We've got our market order in. We want to buy the market. The market, why do we use market orders right now? And it's hard in the spot market. It really is difficult. You want to use that market order because you want to get in right on that bar close if that bar closes above our 9. And right now, we've got a doji setting up, which is keeping us out of trouble. I always say that. I said, listen, it's keeping us out of trouble, meaning if we don't cross over that 9, then it's not time to rally and go. And right there, okay, we've got some compression, and now we're looking for that 1 bar to close above the 9 EMA, and then we're long. It's that simple. You can do stuff like this. This is one of those strategies where if you were going to do this on a 1-minute chart, and realistically, you could trade gold like this probably for the next hour and 10 minutes, I would say. I would say right up till 9 o'clock my time, 11 a.m. Eastern. You could probably get away with trading it because you could see the action. There's a tremendous amount of action in there. What you don't want to be doing is doing this in a flat market. So we're watching, and see that kept us out of trouble. So I'm still waiting for that break. We'll give it another 20 seconds, and then we've got to go do something else. We got a lot to talk about today. One last thing I will say, I hate being in retrospect, but, potentially, there was folks that caught this big plunge just by playing the 9 EMA, about 20 minutes ago. So a lot of ways to play this stuff. You just got to pick the right one, right? The right one's the one that makes sense to you. All right, we got to go do something else. Okay, let's try some fundamentals for a minute. Remember, if you want to trade any of these strategies on any of these markets, check out our Switch Markets community over at switchmarkets.com. We are live streaming over there as well. We're going to run some of those community live streams. We'll have one scheduled and ready to go. So if you want to check it out, feel free to do so in the How to Trade trading room or over at the Switch Markets TV. If not, we typically stream about 3 or 4 times a week on this platform here at HowToTrade.com. In any case, pretty good broker. Go ahead and check them out if you're international. Let me see. Cheryl O. Yep, a 24-hour. I like it. See, the biggest challenge we have, and you just saw it on a 1-minute chart, is what? You get chopped up. I'm loving 4-hour charts. I'm loving dailies. I'm loving those big ones. I love 30 minutes. We're going to do a 15-minute orb with the equities today. But for me, boy, I really, 30-minute chart for me is my bread and butter. U.S. session 30-minute chart, bread and butter. That's what I like to do. All right, today was the Core PCE Price Index, and it was a pretty big number. We're going to go ahead and check it out. Friday is an interesting day. This is a little bit of my own personal psychology. No donation Friday. I don't give money back on Fridays. That's a big no-no for me. I've done it in the past. What it does, it wrecks my psychology moving forward. It's all about keeping your momentum. If I'm having a winning week, I put 50% of my profits in my pocket. If I'm having a losing week, if it's small, I trade as usual. If it's a big losing week, I consider it until waiting till Monday. If it's a big losing week, I shut it down almost every time. I don't even bother on Fridays. I charge my batteries, try to get some rest, and come back fresh on Monday. Neutral. If I'm at 0 or very close to it, I'm just going to have usual trading. I'm either going to trade as usual, I'm going to reduce my leverage, or I'm not going to trade at all. So those are your 3 options. If you're up, take 50% home with you. Take some money home. You need momentum. You need to pay yourself for your time. Losing week. If it's small, trade as usual. Hey, listen, if you're having a small losing week, it means you're winning some trades and you're losing some trades. You're not necessarily messing up too bad. You may come in and have a nice Friday and leave a winner. That's fantastic. If it's a big losing week, though, you're getting crushed. Something's not going right. You're just flat out the wrong way. And if you're the wrong way, then you've got to figure out a different way to approach the next week. You got to figure out how you made your mistakes and why you're losing. And then if you're neutral, it means you're winning some, you're losing some, nothing's really happened. Maybe it was just a dead week. You could trade as usual. You could take the day off or reduce your leverage. I recommend don't blow Mondays and don't blow Fridays. Don't work all week and then blow your account out Friday. There's no worse feeling. I've done it. It's absolutely worse. It's worse, as bad as it gets. Let's see, Calvin, big dive on gold. Yeah, we were on the wrong end of a 9 EMA trade a minute ago, Calvin. I'm doing well, always doing well here. I try to be as happy as I can, and usually it doesn't take me much when I'm in front of a trading screen. All right, trade follow-up. This was Trump's tariffs halted, a Bitcoin buy in view, and this is what we saw yesterday. This was one that I put out. I really like this level. Now, you'll see these lines. Now, this is what I do. I mean, people ask me, Shane, which one of these strategies do you trade? I love the opening range breakout. I think that's a fantastic strategy. The 9 EMAs and the RSIs and the 920s. I'm looking at 920s typically on stocks to take positions in stocks, maybe make some options plays. The 9 EMA with RSI, that's a fun one that we can scalp really active markets with, and it works great on live streams. I don't particularly trade that one personally, but I do like it, and I think it actually can complement some of your other indicators like Fibonacci's can be a pretty good way to trade as well. This is what I do. I do fractal geometry using Fibonacci retracements. And what I'm looking for is great market structure and beautiful overlays. And so if you're brand new to the markets and you're brand new to Fibonacci's, I know you're looking at that chart right now and you're going, what in the hell is that? I get it. I get it. Very simple. We have a weekly chart in front of us. From this spike low, this bottom, all the way up to last week's top, right up around 112, that range is what I'm interested in. It's an 8-week winning streak, something like that, 7 or 8, 7-week winning streak. It's the first losing week in 7. Okay, we're also getting ready to turn the calendar over to June. On a monthly chart, the Fibonacci's are the same. So there's our levels on the weekly. Now let's go to a monthly. That's a 2-month range. You'll see that our numbers are exactly the same. Spike low to a spike high. I call that commonality. Now, what that means is it means that we have a very, very beautiful market structure. I like that. A lot of people, they got pictures of scenery or pictures of wildlife or their significant other, and I sit around and I look for commonality all day, and I love it because if I know the market structure is intact, that means it's not choppy. And if it's not choppy, that means our wave counts have a great chance of working. The only thing that would make this chart better is if that 38% was right at 100,000, then I would pretty much say that's an A+ setup. Fire away on it. It's a heck of a lot better setup than the 9 EMA on a 1-minute chart. But we have to be able to do a lot of different things to survive in this market. And right there, 38% at 97,650. We put our buy down. We're right around, I believe, 98,250. Now, here's the thing about 98,250. We want to shade our entry just a little bit. I want to get in on that trade. I don't want to miss it. Now, our key levels, if in fact you got this trade idea, our key levels for they don't go up above 100,000 for Bitcoin. So we just threw in 99999. Well, we're looking for about 400 pips, and that would essentially be $400, which isn't a bad little trade. So I would be watching that closely, $4,000. Depends on how your pips are denominated if you're in the cash market. But what we are looking for right there is 102.50, a return, so about 4,000. So that's a pretty good trade. If we get a chance to get that over the weekend, I'll probably be looking at my my crypto accounts or my crypto access in Robinhood or something. So we're definitely interested in this level. This is a trade follow-up that I didn't want to ignore. One other thing I don't want to ignore. Look at this. Stopped ourselves out right there. That's the difference between being able to live and fight another day and being out of the game. Listen, it's going to happen to you eventually. It's happened to me. I've let these things get completely away from me, and you end up taking a staggering loss, and it just leaves you sitting there talking to yourself. This is why stop-loss location, if you're going to survive in this market, you've got to have stops. You've got to have stops. Let me see. Mag 7s are all red. The NAS is sliding down. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ right here. This is a pretty good trade right there. This is looking better and better, isn't it? I mean, right there it is. Remember, that's right before the U.S. Open. I would have thrown that one out. I wouldn't have taken that buy. Just remember, if you do take things like that right in front of that 930 Open, it's high risk. That's a beautiful reversal right there. 9 crosses under the 20. We get a big purple candle per our coding, and there's a video we made that shows you how to code it and everything. And then right there, pretty good trade. Look where your target potentially would be. Bottom of market structure, somewhere right around 6:10 a.m. my time, 8:10 Eastern, and that would have been right before that PCE, that core PCE level. So I think you're going to hit that and go much lower. The question is do we want to, do you want to ever buy into this today? I don't necessarily believe it's a trend day just yet, but we are going to set up our orbs for all three of these US 500, US 100, and US 30 right now. Let's give it one more minute here. We got a couple other fundamentals. I know I'm jumping around today, but that's how the open is. I typically get reading price action and forget about our fundies. Core PC was the news today. Came in as expected at 0.1%. Not necessarily the greatest print in the world, but not necessarily the worst. The PCE price index came in at 2.1% year over year. A lot of folks are talking about that as being a big win. It really isn't. Don't get too carried away with these inflationary metrics, but this is what the Fed likes. To me, what jumps off the chart is the goods trade balance. Negative 162 down to 87. 142 expected. That's a major improvement. Now, we can debate all day long whether the United States wants a positive trade balance or not. I believe the last time the trade balance was positive was during the Great Depression. So maybe it's good news, maybe it isn't. But I will tell you this right here, we haven't seen anything like that in quite a while. So I'm actually going to start looking at the trade balance numbers. It's just been a non-factor for so long. Personal income, 0.8%, up a little bit. And then you've also got personal spending came in static, down from the previous release, but right on target with our expectations. What does that mean? It means that people aren't spending as much. Why? Because they're scared. The interest rates are a little bit higher, and there could be a recession on the way. Right here, Core PCE Price Index, which excludes volatile energy prices, the Fed's chosen gauge. It went up 0.1% from the previous month. The result was in line with market expectations. It's just not a huge number right here, though. This is interesting. This is your core PCE read, 0.1%, really coming down big from February. It's been an interesting year for inflation. Not real sure what to say about it just yet. Well, we got to wait and see how everything pans out. Okay, guys, let's build some orbs. Michigan sentiment came in a little bit higher. Yeah, I'll be sure to cover some of those other. Let's see. Raphael Betancourt. Hey, mate, what about the EU and GU? Are we going down? Are we coming down? Well, for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the EU and GU. So that right there would have been your cross under. So, yeah, I mean, at least on a 5-minute chart, which you can get away with right now. The market's active. You can probably do this until the London close. That's what I would say. I would say right now we're in the London-U.S. overlap. I'm not going to eat your lunch for trading a 5-minute chart right now. But right here, we got winners all over the place. That right there, beautiful sell right there on the EU. Yeah, I would say it's still very bearish, at least according to our 920. The 9 crossed under the 20, and we're moving down. Now, as far as a longer time frame, let's take a look at a 30-minute chart. There it is. So potentially, if I was sitting there going, okay, how am I going to trade this right now? I'd say, okay, I got a 90-minute downtrend. What am I looking to do? Spike high, spike low, pullback. I'm looking at a pullback sell, which lines up almost beautifully with the 9 EMA right now. That's what I would be looking to do. Scalp that, but I wouldn't be taking necessarily a position. It would just be a scalp. But that's a pretty darn good trade. This right here got you into this market, back last night for me about 9:30 p.m. Pretty good stuff. Nice rally right here. PCE numbers definitely sense some volatility, but the trend definitely looks to be down. So I would say that, yeah, you're coming off big here. We had an Australian dollar here in a second that we wanted to look at. Let's see, Great Britain pound USD. I mean, this is a challenge to trade right here. Okay, there was your bid, so your bid would have lost. I don't know how you could possibly ever take that trade right after a PCE number. I would much rather be in now. But if you're looking at this price action, you're definitely bearish. 30-minute chart, my approach would be the same. I'd say, listen, we're going to do something like this. We trade up to 134.67, which isn't that far. We're at 134.52. We get a little 15 pip rally right there. Bang, I'm short. Looking to scalp maybe 8-10 pips with the direction of price action. That's a pretty good trade. Let me see right here. Great Britain pound, Australian dollar. Team Marina, my fault. I got behind on you there. Okay, you can see what's setting up. This is a 30-minute chart, and we're really looking to get, right in there was a bid. We had a bid a few days ago that really took you through a nice position. But right here, what are we looking to do? Maybe catch the top of this thing. Let's go ahead and take a look at a 5-minute. Is this pair as good to trade as the other ones? Maybe. It's not a major, so the liquidity and the depth isn't going to be there, but you're moving. So right there would have been your sell. Something like this probably would have been pretty good. You want to be to the short side of it. That's what I would say. If in fact we wanted to do some analysis that, according to what I like to do, we haven't looked at this pair for a while. It's pretty clear cut. It's pretty clear cut for me. Your monthly trend is up. So, your macro level was right around there. That looks to me like a 38%. So, your spike low there, spike high. That's beautiful. That's why I work with these fractals and the Fibonacci's. It just works. That's a nice uptrend right there. What would you want to do right now? Couple of things. Number one, if I'm trading the Great Britain Pound Aussie, I'm definitely watching the top of that market. Watch the top of that spike high right there. It's important. This rally, though, is interesting because if you fill that tail in, you're going to have an opportunity potentially to take shorts, but I think you could still take longs as we really fill that in. So how would we do that? We just take our time frame down. Daily chart, not beautiful. Getting that picket fence spike, spike, spike. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. Let's go down to a 4-hour chart. Something like that. Spike low, spike high. Do you want to be long or short right now? You can take a shot at that long right there. Just remember, Great Britain Pound, Australian dollar. Australian dollar is sort of predicated, or it's hooked to gold. Right now, that correlation doesn't look like it's working. I would be careful with that market structure, but 29.61 or 209.61, not bad bid. You're right in there. Okay, guys, let's draw some orbs, and we'll go ahead and get going here. Let me see how to use the orb on the EU. I would check out Raphael. Check out our Forex orb video. Personally, the way that I would do it is I would say, okay, one of two ways. Number one, I'd use a 4-hour chart right after the weekly open and try to position trade that, swing trade it. And the other way is I would wait for that London open or the EU open, and I would look at a 30-minute chart and build an orb out of that in a breakout. All right, let me see. Marlinda, after your statement, there could be a recession. I'm stopping watching and canceling my subscription. You're obviously out of touch. Goodbye and good riddance. I've been doing this since 2011, Marlinda. I've seen Arab Spring. I've seen wars. I've seen rallies. I'm telling you right now, there could very well be a recession. As a matter of fact, I would bet you $5 that it's going to happen. Remember this. A recession is back-to-back losing quarters of GDP, and you've already got one losing quarter. So you canceled your subscription too soon. You can come back and apologize to me after the next quarter, believe me. Hey, listen, I think the economics are going to work, but but it's going to take some time. And if they can't do the tariffs the way that they want to do them, you're also seeing downgrades in credit in banks. We've got Chase Bank's going to close all of their branches for a few days later this summer. That's called a bank holiday. That's so they can try to balance their books. Don't talk to me about recessions. All right, but I do appreciate your opinion, and I love the all caps goodbye and good riddance. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, here we go. US 30 orb right here. There it is. There's your US 30. We're working on that breakout candle. So I absolutely love this. I love this formation. We just got to just hold back for another 6.5 minutes, get a nice close above this, and then you're just taking the shot. Stop loss is going to be beneath the range, somewhere down in here, and then to the top side. You could be shooting for up in here somewhere. I would be looking right there at that spike high that we made right before the close yesterday. That could potentially work, but right now we're driving higher. We're in positive ground. It looks to me like this is going to be the trade. I mean, if you're going to make this trade, why not shoot for maybe that order block right here? Something like that. You could do it. You could also maybe fill this dump in, fill this chain in up here. Maybe you want to go for the top of market structure and try to hit a real home run. Do you think we spin that high, 400 points? We could do that in a minute. We really could. Be careful, though. I'm a big proponent of one-to-ones. Something like that. I'd be looking at that for the US 30. Okay, let's go ahead and let's make another orb here, US 500. 15-minute orbs. Love it. It's tight. If these markets break positive today, you're going to have a pretty good opportunity to trade the orb. This one's a little bit different. You can see that you're sort of trading definitely inside of that PCE figure right there. So what would your potential targets be? This one's a little tougher. I love it to the top side. I would much rather be shooting maybe for this order block right here. Something like that. But right there's your orb. Do I want to go up or down with it? Don't really care. Right now, I don't really care. That's a tight enough 2-bar range to where you're going to have a chance to hit that 1-to-1 without having to sweat it too bad. All right, one last one, and we got to do this relatively quickly. I got a doctor's appointment I have to get to, so we're going to have to get this done. All right, right there, right there. There it is. If, in fact, you're going to be looking at this US 100 and the US 500 sort of have the same thing happen, you're going to want to be aware of these levels. Definitely that level. That's your overnight low. Happened just before that PCE reading. Could definitely break. I think I'd rather be short, but this is the orb trading. Just wait for your breakout to the longer the short. Get your stop losses and your profit targets all set up, at least a 1-to-1, maybe a 1-to-2. Today doesn't feel like a trend day to me, so I think 1-to-2s, 1-to-3s, and 1-to-4s could be problematic, but I think you can eke out a 1-to-1. So there you go. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here for a while. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We had a great crowd and a lot of folks here. Unfortunately, our gold trade didn't pan out too well. I'm on the 9 EMA. Let's see. Yeah, but see, that's what happens. I get looking the other way, and you got a big winner here. Oversold territory. Right there's your bid, and now you're rolling higher, so you're going to get back what you lost and more. And look, you cut the first one off, and you didn't have to go for the ride. That's what this game's all about. Cut off the losers and let the winners run, especially if you're going to do stuff with moving averages or moving average crossovers. Okay, guys, I got to go. I want to give a special shout-out to Marlinda. Thanks for reaching out. I love the all caps. I've had a pretty interesting week. I've had people sort of yelling at me all week online, so don't worry. None of that. I'm like the Terminator. That doesn't faze me. But I do want to thank everybody. I have a lot of fun on these opening ranges or these opening sessions. It's early, but that's fun. I'm going to have the schedule up for next week inside the How to Trade trading room. That's going to be later today, though, and also the written trade idea is going to be coming out later today. Our YouTube channel, be sure to check that out. We have a lot of content there. We're sort of in a production backlog, so we're going to be it's going to be a few weeks before we get the next video out, but we're going to be live streaming all over the place, so be sure to drop back in next week. Check out some live streams. I like next week a lot better than I liked this week. Memorial Day is always tough. It's a challenge to trade because there's not necessarily the participation we want in the markets. Keep that in mind as you trade and keep an eye on that Bitcoin level. All right, guys. Team Marina, Warren Buffett agrees with you. Oh, that means we're dead. That means I'm wrong. I think I would bet recession this summer first. If for no other reason, then that's the way the metrics are going to work out. All right, guys, I have to go. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic session, a great weekend. Trade the action well. Thanks to everybody. And we'll talk soon. See you.